Well, good morning. It's August the 11th, 2021. Welcome to episode 37 of Getting Back to Conversation. This sun is, I'm out a little bit earlier today than I was last week, and the sun kind of comes flooding across the back deck here of our townhouse in Chesterbrook. It's warm today, and it's going to get up into the 90s, and it's very humid here in Pennsylvania. Anyhow, I wanted to follow through on the promise that I made last week to you about exploring the reasons why we don't have certain conversations. And I've thought about it. I've come up with a few ideas. This is by no means an exhaustive list, and it's a list in progress. I think that sometimes we don't engage in conversations because we perceive that they're going to take a lot more effort than we really want to expend. I suspect that some conversations we don't engage because of fear. And I'll explore those and other ideas in future episodes, but today I want to tackle this idea. And the idea is productivity. Sometimes we avoid conversations because we believe that talking with certain people about certain topics will be unproductive. Put bluntly, if I talk with this person about fill in the blank, it will just be a waste of my time. I think what this belief means can be expressed this way. I am not going to change her mind, and she is not going to change my mind. There will be no movement, no progress. There was a stalemate before the conversation, and there will be a stalemate after the conversation. So when we reduce it down, your goal, and which is what we're talking about, your goal for the conversation is persuasion, or conversion, or a sale, whatever term you want to use. You want or you plan to move your conversation partner from where they are to where you are. And I want to say right up front that I don't have any problem. There's nothing wrong with persuasion as a goal for a conversation. I taught persuasion for many years at St. Mary's College and Eastern University. I believe in the rightness and the propriety of ethical, thoughtful persuasion. I know some people don't. They struggle with the idea of one person trying to persuade another, but I don't have any problem with that. Again, in an ethical and thoughtful manner. But I also want to put forward the idea that persuasion is not the only goal for conversation. Several weeks ago, in episode 34, I referred to David French's essay, Lost Friendships Break Hearts and Nations. As we think about goals other than persuasion for conversations, I want to quote from French's essay at some length. Here's how it begins. I want to start by talking about a friend. His name is Leo, and it's hard to imagine a person more different from me. I'm a white evangelical conservative born and raised in the South. He's a former Mormon, former Catholic, agnostic, Mexican-American, Democrat. He says he belongs to the Church of the Hubble Telescope. In other words, he believes only what he can see. We served together in Iraq. I was the only reservist and a lawyer at that, in an active duty unit, and Leo picked me as his roommate on our forward operating base. He was my first friend in Iraq. I don't think I've spent more time under more stress in a single year with any person, including my wife. We didn't change each other. He didn't become like me. I didn't become like him. We served together during the surge. And from November 2007 until I deployed back home in September 2008, I heard him talk about Barack Obama almost as much as he talked about his wife. Hours and hours of debate wouldn't budge him 1 inch from his wrongness. When he redeployed back home, I used some law school connections to get him prime seats at Obama's inauguration. How did Leo reward me for this act of generosity? By sending me a video of George W. Bush's helicopter leaving the White House while he sang the goodbye song. You know, na 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 na. And French writes, I wouldn't have had it any other way. He goes on to write about the differences between, quote, the rich friendships one gains in the real world through shared lives, including shared hardship and shared suffering, and what he calls affinity or factional friendships. In that same essay, French quotes from Damon Linker's essay about loneliness and friendlessness. Again, I would remind you that I provided links to both of those, the French essay and the Linker essay, and linked to episode 34. Linker talks about the fact that increasingly, according to poll results, American men, and to a lesser degree American women, are saying that they have no close friends. Now, Linker and others argue that we are made for friendship. We are made for relationship. We are made for community, and that we will seek it out because it is a basic need, just like air, food, and water. What happens when we don't have any or many real-world friends? The kind that David French describes. We turn to social media and we find affinity or factional friendships. In other words, people who share my beliefs, people who are like me. But the problem is these are not friendships, real friendships at all. They are flimsy and fragile cyber relationships built on the adherence to a common set of ideological commitments. So let's bring this full circle. Some of us want conversations with people like ourselves. We are tired of trying to change the minds of people different from us. We don't want to waste our time on these unproductive conversations. Perhaps we need to add another goal for our conversations. Perhaps at least some of our conversations could be the means by which we establish and maintain real world, in the flesh, friendships. Well, that's it for today. I'd love to hear your comments or your questions. Please feel free. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And I would remind you that as soon as I get done posting this on Facebook, I will also post it on my YouTube channel. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have great conversations. And I hope that you have real, meaningful friendships. Thanks, and have a great day.